Hello, welcome to Annual Renewal Application Training. This training is presented by the Oregon Department of Education Child Nutrition Programs, also known as ODE-CNP. This training will provide an overview of renewals, the annual application all sponsors of the CACFP must complete in order to submit sufficient information to document they meet CACFP performance standards per 7 CFR 226.6 subsection B1 XVIII. The learning objective of this training is for sponsors to better understand both the purpose and structure of renewals. What are renewals? Each fiscal year, sponsors must submit sufficient information to ODE-CNP in order to document that they meet current CACFP performance standards and ensure sponsors are qualified and capable of running the program in accordance to federal regulations. This annual process of submission, review, and approval of this information, submitted via a series of documents and online forms, is referred to as renewals. ODE-CNP sends an application renewal memo and instructions to each sponsor prior to the beginning of the fiscal year, which is defined as October 1st to September 30th. All requirements for renewals are included with the renewal letter annually. The CACFP operates on the federal fiscal year that begins October 1st and ends September 30th of the following year. CNP Web rolls over to the next fiscal year on the renewal start date listed in the aforementioned memo. As such, deadlines for renewals are centered on that timeline. The deadline for submitting renewal applications is published annually, but you can anticipate CACFP renewals occurring before the start of the new fiscal year in the late summer and early fall. Sponsors are required to submit and complete accurate information by assigned deadlines and provide timely responses to ODE-CNP inquiries and requests for clarifying and/or additional information. Failure to submit a complete and correct renewal application by the deadline may result in delay or disruption of reimbursements, or ultimately in termination of the state agency sponsor agreement. The deadline for submitting renewal applications is published annually. You may see the CACFP USDA ODE Memos webpage for the most current renewal memos and instructions. ODE-CNP sends an application renewal memo and instructions to each sponsor prior to the beginning of each fiscal year. Renewal requirements are included with the renewal letter annually and released via memo to all sponsors. Required documents and expectations for renewals may change each fiscal year dependent on federal regulations. Additionally, requirements will differ between center-based sponsors, school food authorities, and family daycare home sponsors. While requirements may change year to year, the required information for renewals is typically submitted with the items listed here, as applicable to your organization. They include training, online forms, offline forms, and CNP Web forms. The purpose of annual training is to ensure key responsible principals understand updates and changes that may have occurred to the CACFP in the last fiscal year, as well as demonstrate a sufficient comprehension of civil rights and financial expectations as they relate to the CACFP. The Food Program Coordinator, FPC, and Financial Office Contact identified on the current fiscal year CACFP sponsor information sheet must complete assigned trainings. These training expectations will be released along with other renewals requirements as outlined in the prior slide. Trainings may be completed in person. However, individuals that did not attend in-person training options must complete accompanying annual training quizzes in order to receive credit for completing required trainings. Topics typically include CACFP updates, civil rights, and finances. The FPC and Financial Office Contact are required to complete these trainings, even if these individuals have completed these trainings in prior fiscal years. The purpose of online forms is to submit necessary sponsor, site, and management information via CNP Web. This ensures ODE C&P has current information for the sponsor and ensures the sponsor demonstrates effective administrative capability and management via the information submitted. The required online forms will vary depending on the sponsor type. These forms include sponsor information sheet, site information sheets for active sites, provider information sheets, organizational budget, and a sponsor management plan. On this chart, you can see outlined which sponsor types are required to complete which forms. The purpose of offline forms is to submit necessary financial, eligibility, pricing, and vending documentation. This ensures ODE C&P is able to assess and approve current sponsor financials. In addition, these forms enable ODE C&P to gather required documentation for site eligibility, pricing policy, and vended meal agreements. This information is required for sponsors to submit as part of the renewals process. The offline forms required will vary by sponsor type. The requirements for your specific sponsor type will be outlined in renewals communications. Center-based sponsors are required to submit the following offline forms: annual CACFP Center Sponsor Budget Form Excel spreadsheet, and if applicable, area eligibility documentation required for new or expired at-risk after-school sites, pricing program policy statement required for sponsors that charge participants separately for meals and/or snacks served under CACFP, and vended meal agreement required for sponsors that purchase utilized meals with or without milk from a vendor. School food authorities are required to submit the following offline forms: if applicable, area eligibility documentation, pricing program policy statement, and vended meal agreement. Family daycare home sponsors are required to submit the following offline forms. Please note that the following forms should be reflective of the overall organization: updated written compensation policy, current organizational budget, current org charts including agency org chart to show all work of the organization, and program org chart with all the positions that have a role in the CACFP, a profit and loss statement, bank statement, completed CACFP administrative family daycare home budget spreadsheet. Please note that the offline budget is available on the Packet tab of CNP Web. Budget documentation, including position descriptions for all employees with CACFP duties, signed current contracts for contracted services included in the budget, cost allocation plans for all shared costs, documentation of board approval for the budget, other documents supporting the budgeted cost, documentation of non-program funds used to meet CACFP requirements. You are also required to submit CACFP carryover policy and required procedures. Please note, this is only if there have been changes from previous fiscal years. These procedures correlate to lines in the management plan in CNP Web and include procedures on CIS forms, child enrollment forms, expenditure documentation, meal claims, CACFP funds, financial activity, training, meal patterns, and civil rights. To clarify, organizational budgets are only required for center-based sponsors and family daycare home sponsors. School food authorities do not need to complete and submit a budget to ODE CNP. Budgets must be drafted and completed in an ODE CNP template and then submitted to ODE CNP for approval. Budgets must be approved as an Excel before that information is submitted and completed in CNP Web. Sponsors may need to submit other information or supporting documentation in addition to the budget. The purpose of CNP Web forms is for sponsors to submit necessary and current site and user information. This information is required for sponsors to submit as part of the renewals process. These forms are submitted as needed depending on sponsor type and site user need. It is vital sponsors submit this information as it changes and keep their specialist up to date on any changes that may impact who needs to complete training, what documentation is needed, or otherwise. Sponsors will work closely with their assigned specialist and the finance and audit specialist during the application renewal process. It is imperative to communicate with your specialist as renewals proceed and keep them updated on any changes that may impact renewals. Your assigned specialist, fiscal and audit specialist, and support staff will review the materials you submitted for accuracy and completion. Your specialist will work with you on deadlines, documentation, and revisions as needed. USDA prohibits state agencies from approving renewing applications unless all performance standards are met. As such, it is imperative sponsors work with their specialists in a timely and attentive manner, so sponsors can be approved to continue operating the CACFP. Renewals are vital to document sponsors meet CACFP performance standards and help ensure they will be successful operating the CACFP in the coming year. Communication between the sponsor and ODE CNP is key in ensuring renewals is successful, along with following deadlines, instructions, and expectations for the process. ODE CNP is here to help with renewals. Your specialist and the team are available to answer questions, work through revisions, and ensure you complete all requirements. ODE supports equity and excellence for every learner. Education equity is the equitable implementation of policy, practices, procedures, and legislation that translates into resource allocation, education rigor, and opportunities for historically and currently marginalized youth, students and families, including civil rights protected classes. This means the restructuring and dismantling of systems and institutions that create the dichotomy of beneficiaries and the oppressed and marginalized. This institution is an equal opportunity provider. Thank you for taking this training.